Namaste,
Day Soul Circle.
Stephen.
I'm Candice, and we're from Arcana, Mind, Body, Spirit here in Toronto, Canada.
And today it is Aquarius new moon. I am so pumped for this. How are you feeling, Candice?
I'm feeling good. And winded after my day. Put my child to bed, probably a little later than she should have gone to bed. Worked out. I had my shower. Put my night cream on because I'm that age, and now I'm here with you.
I love it. Yeah,
What about you?
I have to say I'm feeling the same way right now. If this is your first new moon joining us, new moons for us are just about like relaxing, getting comfy. You'll notice we have our like blankets sitting by our fireplace here. It's winter in this northern hemisphere right now. But for us, it's a lot about just looking into ourselves, being grateful. We're going to talk about gratitude tonight. We're going to be setting some intentions. And for us, it's all about just relaxing. So yeah, if you, most of us probably had a busy day right now because you know what, the energies of the new moon start building. It is go time starting very soon. So we'll get to all of that later though. So it is an Aquarius new moon. So let's talk about Aquarius. Candice, do you know a lot of Aquariuses?
I have one really good friend who's Aquarius, who I met in school. You know who you are. I feel like there's a couple newer people in my life that are Aquarius. Oh, I also have a couple close friends, and then some other people that have come in and out of my life.
Okay.
But I don't have too many Aquarius people. Yeah. Yeah, what about you? Do you know a lot of Aquarius people?
Well, actually, my father is an Aquarius, so I grew up with an Aquarius very close to me. My whole family, my mom's a Libra, I'm a Gemini, my dad is an Aquarius, so the three of us were just like air signs swirling around each other our whole life. So I've always really liked that independent, free thinking, sort of mold breaking Aquarian vibe, don't you?
Mm-hmm. I'd say both the people that I know who are Aquarius, who I know well, are definitely fitting in that category, for sure. One's a man and one is a female, and they're two totally different people, but both very much walk to the beat of their own drum and enjoy that aspect of themselves very much, I would say. I think that's something they take pride in.
I love I love that energy stream. And what's great about this Aquarius new moon is we are in the age of Aquarius now. We just crossed over into this age of Aquarius in what was it, December, I think? Age of
Aquarius, Aquarius.
We don't own the rights to that song. Please don't take it.
God.
I mean, you can't say Age of Aquarius and not recognize the great, brilliant songwriting that goes behind that. But yeah, so Aquarius, yes, very. It is the water bearer. If this is your first time sort of working with the zodiacal wheel, don't be fooled. Water bearer, it is still an air sign, and it is fixed air. Now, this new moon is very good if you are a fellow air sign, a Gemini or a Libra, which is great for me. I'm a Gemini sun and a Libra rising, so this is fantastic for me. And then also if you're a Pisces, Candice?
Well, Pisces rising.
Yes. So if you have Pisces in your astrological chart, this is also a really good new moon for you. So we are set up for success here, sister.
Do it.
I like it. Now, of course, the energies of Aquarius are very masculine, fixed. Now, the opposing sign, the energies that are against this new moon are Leo signs, which actually I'm a Leo moon. Now, often you'll hear sort of mixed reviews about what it means to be the opposing sign to what the new moon or full moon is. For me, it's kind of like retrograde. Everyone goes, oh, retrograde is terrible. No, retrograde is just time, instead of being outward, it's time to look inward. So I'd say all the Leos out there need to take some time on this new moon and look inside. Spend a little time inside this body temple of yourself and ask yourself some truths. Ask yourself what you are ignoring or looking away from. Okay, the ruling planet is Uranus for Aquarius, which is great. We're going to talk about that later because there's some astrological things happening with Aquarius right now too. If you're someone who is working with their circulatory system or having any health issues there, this is a great time for you. Also, your shins and ankles, this is also a good time to heal those parts of your body with Aquarius energy out there. And other correspondences, if you have the color blue, that's why I'm wearing my blue tank top here today, not because I'm a surfer out here in the winter, but blue for correspondence for Aquarius. And of course, amethyst is the stone, so if you have any amethyst in your collections, make sure you get that out. Candice, you got any correspondences out there?
I got some amethyst here. Got my quartz, I got some essential oil, some rosemary going.
Yes. The oils and stuff like that. We have valerian, rosemary, fennel, and violet. Sorry, I missed that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I have some rosemary going. I have some rosemary in the cauldron, some dried ones that I have, but I also have the essential oil out. Keeping it really simple tonight. You know, I've had a long day, and I just grabbed what felt like enough. So it's gonna be a nice, clean, simple, to the point for me over here.
Yeah, I think that's great because you know you don't need the tools. The tools aren't the magic. We're the magic, and that's always a really important thing. The correspondences, of course, can help, but some people don't use any tools in their practice, and I think that is fine too. All the power to you. So I love it. I think whatever you grab when you're looking is the stuff that you need. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Okay, so new moon in Aquarius. If this is your first time doing anything with a lunar cycle, welcome. The lunar cycle is 28 days for the most part, give or take some hours there. And it begins with the new moon, which is what we're celebrating tonight. And new moons are the time where you want to set your intentions for the next 28, 29 day cycle, okay? We want to try to accomplish whatever these goals are by about the midway point, which is where we celebrate the full moon. And then for the 2 weeks after that, it's about integration, it's about release and all of that. Okay, so as we talk tonight, our questions are going to be around what we are intending over the next little while and what gratitude or things that have come up since our last moon. Okay, so in our Aquarius new moon, listen up here, folks. Our focus is going to be these two words. Are you ready? It's get clear. This is our new moon to get clear. All right, now, what does that mean? Right now, we are going to be setting our intentions, and when we are setting them, the verbiage that we use with Aquarius is not set, it is declare your intentions. Right now, instead of just thinking or wishy-washing or maybe I want this, maybe I want that, we want to be bold, we want to break the mold, and we want to say the things that we want, which can sometimes be a little bit challenging. There's a lot of exercises that even if you're doing this as a solo practitioner, you want to be able to voice those things aloud, because otherwise your wishy-washy will be washed downstream with the water bears water. We need to declare independently what it is we would like. Now, we have two very good focuses with this new moon based on the other astrological things happening right now. The two places in your life that you can really make a big difference are your love life and your abundance and finances. Now, I don't know about you, Candice, but those are two places that I love manifesting things in.
Yes.
So I'm ready for that right now. I'm here for it. So tonight we're going to remind you to name that dream, whatever it is. When you're in circle with if you're doing this on your own, if you're doing this with us, if you're doing it with a friend, when you are stating these things, you're in a safe space. There's no such thing as a silly dream. Say the thing out loud. If your heart wants it, it's probably the best medicine for you. Okay, so next, We have astrologically two other things happening right now. So number one is Saturn and Uranus are going to be in a clash. Now, what does that mean? Now, Uranus is, my little analogy is always, he's like the bohemian. He like goes against the mold, does things a little bit differently, kind of walk that offbeat track planet. That's Uranus. And Saturn is pretty much the exact opposite. Saturn is about structure. It's like, I always like to think of it as like that grandparent telling you like, oh, when I was young, that's Saturn. And right now those are clashing. So what that means is we're going to be looking into our lives a little bit and seeing what systems and old Saturn structures can possibly be torn down by this abrupt Uranus energy. Okay, so what systems can be torn down? Candice, do you have any thoughts on that right now?
Yeah, so, and I'm thinking about declaring my intentions. And I know for a lot of people, and I know for myself in the past, it was very hard to say those things. I had a lot of core beliefs that were standing in the way of me being able to declare anything that I actually wanted, because it came down to a belief system that maybe said I wasn't worth the things that I actually wanted to get, or said that, you know, I couldn't get the things that I wanted. So it's particularly thinking about love and thinking about finances. You know, I had, you know, there's lots of moments in my life where, like, growing up, and just the stories that were helping me weave together the tale of who I am, that, you know, would say that I wasn't able to get the financial abundance that I wanted, be it because, you know, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you don't have the skills or the talent or the whatever to get there. So you end up settling for something else, or you end up staying in a cycle that may keep you safe, but it doesn't get you to where you want to be. And the same things were going with love. So again, not being worth that, not being worth the love that you crave and that you want and that you dream of, and instead staying in kind of like a system that again might keep you safe because it's familiar, but might not be keeping you happy, might not be keeping you fulfilled. But you stay in it because it, like I said, there's safety in the familiarity of those things, right? So for me, I think I'm breaking down those storylines that have run my life, and the choices that I make, and the way that I see myself, and the way that I feel about myself, the way that I love other people in my life, and things that I accept, and also my expectations. So, and I think by breaking those things, those old systems of beliefs that I have about myself, I'm able to create new beliefs in things that maybe I didn't even think I was able to achieve. So, and just kind of just jumping into those things and saying, I want this is what I want, and not feeling any thoughts about what can't be or what I don't have, and just really just saying, this is what I want, and I don't see what the only difference between me and someone else who has it is that they did the stuff to get it.
Exactly.
So just do it. If you want it, you got to do it. So I think that's one of the that's what I'm focusing on here. And what I'm getting in this time period, this energy.
Yeah, that's very strong, independent Aquarian energy. That's for sure. I love that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, I think the structures that I'm ripping down are. I can't be the only one who thinks this. Like, we waited all year for the world to sort of restart and get going again, and even if it doesn't look exactly like it did before, things are starting to roll a little bit now. And as we're sort of jumping back into old patterns, I'm starting to ask myself, I'm seeing these little inner voices like creep inside, little voices at the back of my head asking, is this how this should be? Is this how we should do things? Is this, I don't know. And I haven't spent a lot of time with that energy yet, but I know that I should. I feel like there's a little bit in there that there are some messages for me there, because it's coming up like the little like conscience, those little guides coming in being like, are you sure? Is that what we're jumping back into? Is that the pattern? So that's where my thought process is on that. I haven't explored it enough yet, but I feel like 2 weeks from now, maybe at our full moon, I might have a little bit more insight on that. Yeah. So, so that's the first one. The Uranus and Saturn clash. Okay, your little thought to think about on that is what has to be cracked open. What can we tear apart a little bit? Okay, so I said there were two different things happening astrologically. The other one is, you may not have heard of this before. You want to wait one day after this new moon to really dive into these intentions, and I'm going to tell you why. Every so often, the moon ends up in this phase that we call void of course. Okay, the moon is just void of course. And for a moment, it's sort of spinning in a direction that almost feels like it's going off course. And there's a lot of superstition based around this. A lot of traditions really believe that any intention set right as the moon is starting to move off course is actually very bad in your manifesting practice. So, from the window of the new moon, it's actually about I believe it's about a 13 to 18, somewhere in there, amount of hours before the moon really jumps on course. So keep that in mind. Wait, I'd say to be safe, wait about a day, sleep through the night, then get going. Okay, that's probably the best astrological time this time for your intention set. Okay, so I think we've talked a lot about what is going on with these stars. I think it's time for us to ask our questions. Are you ready to dive in, Candice?
I was born ready. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Bam. Okay. All right, so before we move forward, let's spend a minute and let's talk about what we did for January. What were our intentions in January and how we did with them. Now, in case any of our viewers want to go and get any tools or anything like that, I thought that we should show what we do have right now. On my setup here right now, I have our moon water. Usually I drink a little bit of moon water throughout the night. Again, the correspondences, we have some fennel and I have a little bit of rosemary in here. Amethyst. We're going to be doing our carving the Aquarius sign into our candle here. And I'm going to get my cauldron sparking as we're talking a little bit right now. I don't know about you, Candice.
Nice. Yeah. For me, I have our moon water. I have just a couple of the crystals that we mentioned. I have some essential oil, rosemary. I have a moon candle that I've had for quite some time. So I'm going to be lighting that up.
Oh, yes.
You remember this, right?
Yes.
I have this guy here. I have my cauldron with just a little bit of some rosemary and just some white sage, some basic things in there. I think I have some dried flowers from before to burn in there as well. I cleared some space before just to chill myself out from the day. And I have a candle for after to kind of melt all over my intentions for later. And I have my goddess oracle cards.
Bam, I think we're ready. Yeah, so stay tuned. We're actually going to be pulling some cards at the end of this too. So if that's your shtick, you're going to enjoy that part.
Yeah, I already had some jumpers, so I'm just going to use those.
I love it when they just jump right out at you.
Yep.
Okay, so Candice, why don't you start? So let's talk about what your intentions were at our last new moon. It was a new moon in Capricorn last time. What intentions did you set out and how did they go?
So my intentions, so much to say, the last one. Anyways, but my intentions basically were centered around me kind of staying motivated and following like a schedule. I wanted to, be able to do better with the homeschooling with my daughter, to keep the space happy and functioning. I wanted to make sure I was working out and eating healthy and taking care of myself. And just kind of staying steady on course. And I wanted to, I wanted to also be taking the time to like make sure I was looking for a job every day. And just like, there were a lot of, it seemed like a lot, but I think the core root of what I was looking for was to just stay on track and stay motivated. It was very easy to not be motivated, being at home and just in quarantine and all the things that are happening. It's really easy to just not get motivated. And I wanted to maintain that in the ways that I listed. Crazy enough, a lot of things have, I always want to say the line from that movie, "New shit has come to life." Anyways, if you know the quote, put it in the comments below. Tell me what movie it's from. New shit has come to life. But anyways, a lot of things happened, and I feel like I've been working for these things and asking these things and creating warm space for these things and making sure the soil was warm and lovely for these things, for these seeds to grow. And a lot of things just kind of happened and came seemingly out of nowhere, but clearly
you've been
not.
You've been calling this in, like, yes.
I've been doing the work for a long time for these things. And yeah, I got a job. I got a job. It was great. It came really, really fast. And I feel like when I set it and I really made the agreement within myself that this is what I was going to do, it wasn't just saying, oh, I really want to get a job. Oh, I want to get a job, and like looking for a job online and feeling just like blah about it and feeling unmotivated and just like kind of dragging my heels through doing the things, versus when I made the agreement inside myself, I'm going to do this, and just like staying really focused in on the things. It worked. It really, things came together. I'm not saying it's always going to be like that, but like I said, these intentions are not new for me. I've put in a lot of work, and I've put in a lot of personal work to be ready to accept that it wouldn't come that quickly. And when it did, I was very, very grateful. I mean, there's other things that came to light too, but you know what? We'll just leave it at the miracle of employment.
We'll see what happens over the course of the next month. We'll see.
We shall see. You know, sometimes there's just plants that you need to leave them alone. Just leave them to do their thing. Don't force it. Don't overwater it. They just kind of need their space. So that's what I'm going to give it. You know what I mean?
I think we need a little moon water cheers to that one. That's pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited about all of these things for you, my dear.
All of the things. I'm sure our people who are tuning in to watch us on our new moon will come to know what else I'm talking about. But I'm going to leave a little bit of some secrets here tonight.
All right. Cheers, love.
Cheers.
Now let's talk about moon water. Candice, you want to talk about that for a moment?
Oh yeah, so our moon. This is the moon water from our full moon. So in your new moon, you do not want to make your moon water. Your moon water is made on full moon, and you're not charging your crystals and stuff now.
No. Yeah, it's all about intention work. That's all it does. You want to charge moon water, all that stuff when the moon is big and bright.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
So, what about you, Steve?
For me.
So I had some things that came up.
Well, I would say I had one intention for my Capricorn new moon.
Yeah.
And it was my physical body space. And I don't know about you, this camera's making me look like Superman here, guys. Woo!
Which way is the beach?
I've put in the work on my body, and I mean, sure, we're joking and laughing about this. I spent almost all of January. I went on that crazy diet plan that you know that I was on. I cut like everything. Not necessarily. I'm not trying to lose weight. That's absolutely not my intention. My intention was to take my body to like to see what things it needs and what things I'm just filling it with, because it's almost like an addictive part of me. Like, do I really need as much? I don't really have a lot of sugar, but like, do I really need as much bread, let's say, or do I really need, like, what things am I just reaching for because I'm working from home and I just want to do something? So I took more vitamins. I worked out every single day. I spent time really stretching. I stretch a lot in when the world looks a little bit different and I have to go to work. I'm an athlete by trade, so I'm always stretching and stuff. But then all of a sudden, once I started working from home, I really stopped doing a lot of that. And this last month, I've been very kind to my body on that. And then just taking time to like do sound bowl for myself, not just do it for either the online audience or for other people. I like took time for myself, and it felt really nice. I feel like I'm in a very, very proud, independent space right now. My headspace just feels very, like it's very easy to stand up tall with my back tall and feel comfortable. And I just feel very empowered with that. I'm going to keep moving forward with that intention. It's not going to be my only intention, but I'm going to take all of the seeds I planted in these 28 days and integrate it into the rest of my calendar year. So I'm very happy about that.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like when it happens, it just happens so fast. It's like everything's happening really, really, really quickly, which also is awesome that it's happening right now, because at the end of the month we have the quickening moon, the full moon, and so that'll be like, I don't even know like what else could happen by the end of the month. What else could happen? It's all coming together right now. It's really coming together right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope everyone tunes in for that. Maybe I'll spill some of my other little secrets that I kind of holding close to my heart right now. But
yeah, let's talk about that quickening for sure. If you guys were following our channel, you know that within the last, I guess it's been about a week and a half now since Imbolc. It's one of the high holidays took place, and Imbolc is one of our favorite. It's the end of our season of rest, and we always talk about like it's in the belly, but for us it's like what's in our bottle. We end up creating sacred sacrament that we're going to use for a lot of rituals over the course of the coming year. So if you haven't had a chance to watch, our Imbolc video, it's really important to have a look at that before Ostara, which will be here in, just over a month now. It's wild.
Comes so fast.
Yeah. And Ostara is one of our favorites. So right now we're currently in the season of the quickening. As we're talking about right now, things feel like it's moving, things are starting to gestate, we're getting going. Once we get to Ostara, Arcana has a really beautiful tradition that we do a labyrinth.
Yes, I love it. It's my favorite, and I recreated it for my birthday party. Yeah. And made everyone walk the labyrinth.
Yeah, we walk the labyrinth, and then as we walk, we're talking about our intentions, and we keep our sacrament bottles that we made at Imbolc at the end of it, and we actually unbottle them and they're full of essential oils and all kinds of magic. We unbottle them at the end of our maze. But as we walk the maze, we're asking questions and stopping. We heed as we go through. It's actually a really, really great tradition for Ostara. So if you guys are interested in that, comment below. We'll see about making a video about how to celebrate Ostara.
It can be somewhat confronting, but sometimes we need that, especially if we want to keep the momentum moving and make sure we're on the right course.
Yeah, I love it. I love Ostara.
Me too.
I think Ostara was probably one of our first, like, many years ago now, but our first really high ceremonies. I think we may have done Imbolc together, but even Imbolc wouldn't have been as big as probably our first Ostara.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
awesome.
still remember it.
Lots of years ago now, you old
Yeah.
witch, you. All right, so moving on. Okay, I guess as we are going into this season of quickening, we've already talked about it. You can really feel the change in the energy, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Honestly, I feel like after Imbolc,
yeah,
everything just was like
wind in our hair. Like
it's almost as if it almost feels as if like nothing really changed. Like I had always been moving in this new way. Like even while I'm in it, I'm just in it. It's not like I don't even feel nervous about it. I don't feel hesitation. I didn't feel like, and specifically talking about like starting a new job and stuff. I didn't feel anything. It was just like go time, and I was just doing it and doing the motions, and I felt really secure. And I think again, going back to like doing all of the actual work, it's not just celebrating Imbolc. It's not just celebrating the high holidays. It's not just celebrating new moon, full moon. You literally have to do the work every single day. These things are kind of like helping you lead yourself on the path and giving you the motivation and reminding you to what you want to do and what you're trying to do. You know, it's really easy to fall back on old belief systems, on, you know, old patterns, because, you know, that's what that's what you're used to, that's what's familiar. So if you're trying to change that, you can't just, you know, spark the cauldron up and then go to bed and think that you're going to wake up and then everything you want is going to be waiting for you at your door. It doesn't work like that. You have to do the work every single day, and it becomes part of your lifestyle. And that's really what it was. And I think that's why, instead of having anxiety and feeling anxious, like I'm doing something that's outside of myself, I've been preparing for these things for months, if not years. And so now when I step into this position, I'm ready. So what are you going to throw at me? Because I'm literally, like you asked me earlier, Steve, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. There you go.
And you have been in a position before where, like steps were taking in the direction that you had liked, but there's such a difference about how the energy and the momentum and the air around you, even just your appearance, everything looks so different since Imbolc. You have been quickened.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I really did stick to, even from the last time when we were in New Moon, I really did stick to the plans that I wanted. I mean, they weren't perfect and I fell off. I still suck at homeschooling. It's not for me. Or my daughter, I'm sure she's excited to go back to school, which I'm grateful for. I know it's not everyone's choice, but it is for my family. Yeah. And, you know, we did the best we can. And, but I did stick to all my schedules of taking care of myself more and all the things. And again, it just comes back to that everyday work.
Yes.
Stay on track, stay in flow with all of these things that we do here on these specific days. All of the days it flows, and I do all of the things. Not all of this is looking like this, but I stay on course.
Yeah, and I think there's something about following that cycle and the cadence of the wheel of the year and the wheel of the moon and all of this. It's accountability, right? We know that in Circle we are going to have to stand here and talk about what we did, how we did it, and as a circle, we're there for each other as we take these steps. It's one of the beautiful parts about being in Circle.
Yeah, and also full disclosure, you know, like there's no shame in not doing something that you set intentions for. I mean, I had to work really hard at untethering myself from someone not so long ago, and you know, I'd come back to circle for a high ceremony, and I had to be like, so I slipped up.
Those. Yeah.
I had gone and slipped up pretty big time. And, you know, and again, it just was like, it felt, the more that I did it, it felt more like I was betraying almost myself at this point, but it became clearer, and then it became easier for me to not do it. And it took a long time, and it took baby steps to get there, you know, and maybe I needed to learn the hard way, or the long way. But I did it eventually.
The way that you needed to learn. I don't think there's any shame, and it doesn't have to be defined by an adjective, you know, that was the path that it had to take.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay, so the next section is gratitude. You will always hear in Arcana, one of our most important facets of what we do is I think it always has to start with gratitude. You always have to wake up and say thank you. I think, you know, I don't know where this quote came from, but someone much wiser than I said, you always have to say thank you before you say please. And that's always a beautiful thought process behind everything that we do. So, Candice, let's set some gratitude here. Because this is an Aquarius, full world, independent new moon. We're actually going to say 3 things. We'll write them down in our journal, and please, we're going to invite you guys to do it with us. Let's find something that we are grateful for ourselves, something that we're grateful for either your family, your chosen family, your collective, your partner, your spouse, someone close to you. And then gratitude for the world at large. Let's talk about the entire expansive world right now. Okay?
Hey.
Writing. Our gratitude practice is always one of my favorite parts.
It's the most important part.
I'd say. How you doing over there?
I'm good. Halfway.
Cool. We'll give about another minute or so for anyone at home to finish up their intentions. Excuse me, gratitude. All right, everyone.
All right.
Gratitude. So, Candice, why don't you start? What is the thing that you're grateful for yourself?
So without reading word for word, I'm feeling really grateful right now because this was something that was really, really, really hard for me. Speaking as someone who has trauma, like we all do, my specific trauma had a lot to do with self-worth and having that taken away. And so I have spent many, many years working with professionals who I'm very grateful for, but also doing my own work as well. And I'm feeling super grateful right now to be able to say with absolute honesty and truth that I accept my past without shame or regret and judgment on myself. And I have this newfound ability in the last probably the last year, I'd say, to really just trust in the process and trust that the future is going to be very, very bright and very beyond what I could even imagine. So I'm really, really grateful for that step and to be able to have and hold that within myself. And Steve, what about you? Okay, so I think we lost Steve. So we'll wait here. Okay, he's coming back. So I just wanted to make sure we checked in on him to make sure he's coming back. So I will move on and then we'll get Steve's 3. So that's what I'm grateful for myself. And thinking about my family and chosen family and whichever Steve decides to talk about. But for me, I am really grateful for my family. I'm really grateful for the health, the stability in my parents' health right now. So there are some things that came up. I won't go into too many details because it is their life, their business. But for me right now, I'm really grateful that they're in my life still physically. Ah, you're back. I'm just talking about what I'm grateful for, and I'm grateful for my family, health. Specifically my parents. Without their support and help throughout my life, especially me, it would be really hard and really different. So I am just so happy that health is stable and they're making moves to be more comfortable, closer to family. I'm just really grateful that I have that on and to have in my life. Since I'm doing my 3, I'll just keep going. So the last one, what I'm grateful for on a larger scale, I would say I'm really grateful for the conversations I know are around gender, around sexuality. It makes me really happy and it makes me really hopeful when I hear people that I didn't think would ever have a conversation, ever change of heart, talk about things like race, like gender, like sexuality in a way that is with new eyes, like not old bigot eyes, but new ways that it's like are so refreshing and acceptance and then with love. And even if they don't know, it's about asking questions and wanting to know and wanting to understand and making space for different for things that aren't just the standard heteronormative white Christian storyline. Not that there's anything wrong with being white or Christian or heterosexual, but there is something wrong when you can only be those things.
Yes.
If you want to take up space in the world safely and with love and live out your best life. If you can't do that and you have to keep who you love a secret, or you have to feel ashamed or have to feel like you don't have the same things because you're a person of color, bullshit. And I'm glad these conversations are happening. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not delusional. I know that's a long way to go. Trust me, I know. But conversations are being had. And when I hear people talking about those things, when I hear a 70-something-year-old woman tell me about trans issues that didn't even know what that was a few months ago, I'm all for it. Yeah. So I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
I love that. That's very good. That's very articulate, very well spoken. And I think it is one of the I think we're at a turning point that we will all look back at like decades from now about how this conversation started and when it started. I mean, I feel like the conversation has been started many, many, many times, but there is a bit more of an awareness over the course of the last year, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm loving it. That's good. Okay.
So what are your three? Yourself, family or chosen family, and the world.
The world. I'm gonna start with myself. Over the course of the last month, doing the work that I have done, I've spent a lot of time doing Arcana. I've spent a lot of time working with my other job. I've been spending a lot of time, like I said, on my physical body temple. And I'm very grateful at my commitment that I can put towards myself. And I don't want to sound selfish. My intention is to not sound selfish as I say that, but that is also exactly what I mean. I think when we do sort of work on ourselves and literally spend time on just ourselves, I think sometimes that is immediately labeled as selfish. And I think I'm very happy and grateful for the type of time I set aside for myself, for the type of for setting aside extra money to buy healthier foods this month, for getting more vitamins this month. So I'm really happy with the commitment that I showed for myself. So I'm very happy with that. For my chosen family, and so yeah, my second point is sort of across the board. It's towards my spouse. It's towards Candice, you and your daughter. It's towards a lot of our friends, all of our friends in our chosen family. You'll know what I mean. I've become very aware, and maybe it's this Aquarius energy that's blowing through right now. I'm really grateful for how my friends and family have the bravery to rewrite their lives whenever something isn't really serving them. I am surrounded by so much bravery and people who have lived so many different versions of lives, like so many different versions of lives. We have friends who are creating families that do not look like your standard, normal looking family. We have a lot of our friends waiting till much, much older after they've had all their career goals and things like that to have kids, and not feeling ashamed for any of that. We have friends who are moving across the world to fall in love and be with their partner. Like, I'm just really taken aback and so grateful and sit in awe and reverence of the bravery of the people that I'm surrounded by right now. I love that about all of us. And then number 3, for the world, I'm really grateful right now. A lot of shit stopped working last year. We stopped doing a lot of things. And I'm really grateful that Mother Earth, that like our planet, our green space, our airspace, our waterways, that it all got a little bit of a breather. I think as a planet, we do so much to take advantage of the resources and the beauty. And I mean, even when you think of, for me, one of my biggest pet peeves in life is littering. I hate seeing garbage out in nature. I can't tell you what that does to me. But even with all of us trapped inside, there is less litter. You know, there is less carbon monoxide from the airplanes going everywhere. There is, like, do you remember when there were like dolphins swimming through Venice last year? Like, just all these really beautiful things that happened because our planet got to take a breath. And in this gratitude space, I'm hoping that there's enough people in the world who have seen this change or enjoyed this change that maybe something might look a little bit different with our consumption of some of our resources. That would be very beautiful to see. But anyways, I'm sitting in a gratitude place there, just that like the trees are greener, the natural growth cycles look more beautiful right now. I'm really grateful for that. Yeah.
I'm also grateful for that too.
As you feather it in,
bringing it
over you.
Bring that smoke in as you're saying it. Yeah. Beautiful.
Okay. All right. So now it is intention time, folks. So if this is your first time ever doing sort of like, if you're using like a book that is like your workbook, you're going to notice that, I don't know, Candice, if you have your book there, but you're going to see that we have a lot of destroyed pages in our books. A lot of them. Like a lot of them. And this is a part of our practice. Now, a really great way to do this is write directly on top of your gratitude. So if I wrote my gratitude, it doesn't really appear on camera all that well, but let's say this top portion here is my gratitude that I wrote here. I'm going to write my intentions directly on top of my gratitude. And then with those intentions, we destroy them afterwards with a lot of the oils and earth and energies of what that is. Okay? So for your intentions, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. Some people like to just write. Some people like to use keywords. Some people draw. There's so many different ways that you can do this. Even if you want to do a sigil, which we're going to be doing, I think, we're doing candling at the next...
we're going to do sigils for the full moon.
Excellent. Great. We're excited for that. So if you don't know what we're talking about, you will soon. All right. Let's do our intentions. You ready?
I am ready.
How are we doing with your intention?
Good. I'm done.
Excellent. I actually was called to do a little sigil here too. It was funny how it all came together.
Nice.
I'll show you guys in a minute. It's kind of cool. All right, so Candice, drum roll. What is your intention? Oh, and actually, sorry, before we get to that, if you have any quartz, whenever you're stating an intention at a new moon, it's always good to program a crystal. And a quartz crystal is always the most programmable crystal that you can use. We're going to talk about crystals later in the year as one of our topics, our monthly topics. But until then, if you have some clear quartz, it's always good to use that. I wear my clear quartz every day almost, so it's an important part of me. So as you're declaring your intentions, hold that quartz. Go for it, Candice. What you got?
So to continue to stay focused and clear-headed and motivated at work and with all the work that I do, with this job, with Arcana. Again, making sure that I'm not being scared to ask questions and going after any opportunities that I have before me, and remembering inside myself that not knowing something is an opportunity to learn something. So it doesn't mean that you're stupid. It just means that you're going to learn something new, and that's awesome. I have to remind myself that a lot. The other one was to matters of the heart and love, to continue to stay vulnerable and open and authentic. No one's on a pedestal, and to meet people and remain at an equal level with them, and not holding expectations around the results of anything.
Yeah, that's very well articulated too. As Candice is speaking out her intentions, what I'm doing here is I'm writing the Aquarius symbol directly onto our candle here. And on this candle, we actually have all of the signs throughout the year as we've just turned to a new wheel. And when we get to our Aquarius full moon, which is going to be later in the year, we usually end up taking the same sign and recarving it in. So as she speaks her intentions, I place that intention into the candle with her and for her. And as you guys speak your intentions and write your intentions, I'm also placing that intention into this candle for us. Candice, that was very, very lovely put. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that? Oh, I think Candice's audio may have disappeared a little bit. Do you need a moment to have a look at that? One moment, audience. This is what happens when we're live. Okay. All right. So now that we have the Aquarius sign in there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of oil and anoint my candle. Now there's so many different oils that you can use. I have to give a huge shout out to Sage Goddess. Sage Goddess is one of my favorite metaphysical practitioners out there. They do crystal work. They have an amazing crystal shop, extensive, and they do these great online programs, which are fantastic too. This is their activation oil. It's always a little tricky to see some of these things on camera, but activation is a word that really speaks to me in January. I feel like we're activating. We're at the beginning times of the year. So I take this oil, and I anoint it on the candle. It smells so good. And then, of course, whenever you work with oils, you want to put a little bit on your third eye for what you know. Keep a little bit at your wrists for what you do. And then on the soles of your feet and your ankles for where you go. Then you want to finish by taking your hands, blowing a little bit of your life force onto them. Placing a little bit on your heart. Gets all your key lines and your chi lines, all your energy and your central channel flowing and working. All right, so now I'm going to do my intentions here. So for my intentions in my practice, what you'll see is that I take my gratitude and right directly on top of my gratitude list, like right directly on top of it, I put it, my intentions directly onto it. And for me, this year, hold on guys, we are live. I just need to make sure that Candice gets back in. She just had a little bit of a computer hiccup, as it were. These things happen. There we go. Thank you for being so patient. Okay. So let me talk a little bit about what my intention is. For those of you who are new and just met me, I've been in the throes of publishing a book series for quite some time now. I think we're almost getting up to, I think we're at 8 years maybe, something like that. And I have written 5 books of a series. And they really have a lot to do with my life. And they have to do with very intimate things that happened to me. Candice, we have you back. Excellent. I think you're still muted. Just make sure you unmute, and then you should be able to go.
There we go.
There we go. Welcome back, darling. Again, we're live. Anything can happen. So I was just explaining that about my book series, about how it's been a long process, and in the last year I made a lot of big changes with who I thought I was going to be publishing my book with. And it took a long time. I'd say a big brunt of my work last year took me to actually leave who I was going to be publishing with. So that being said, I am now rereading my whole series, and I'm looking for whatever the block is, because I believe that if all of these other external things happened, there must be something that's taking place inside of me that was holding me back. Like there was a reason why all of these things came up. So my intention this month is I'm going to reread my series. And I'm going to read it not as an overly critical human, not as a scared, because it's very raw. It's about a lot of the hardest times of my life. So for me, it's very difficult to sort of read some of these things when I'm in a happier time of my life. So I'm going to read it as a bystander, and I'm going to read it happily, and I'm going to get it done in 28 days. And by the end of that, I will be in a much more confident place to resubmit and see what is going to happen with my series. So I'm very excited about that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So Candice, if you would like to take a moment and carve the Aquarius sign into your candle and anoint it, you can do so now. If the audience, if you guys are doing that, please think of your intention. put it in your candle. I already anointed my candle. Once your candle is anointed, it's a little bit sticky. And then you take your whatever oils you're using, or any like your rosemary, your fennel, pop that directly onto the candle. You can really smell that fennel, that like, what is it, like black licorice, right? Oh yes, and the sigil I wanted to show you guys. It actually ended up looking like we're going to talk about how to create sigils on the next one, but you'll see here in this little corner here, I have this excellent little symbol. And that's my little sigil for that, which means I'm going to be working with that. Here's another example of a sigil that we use. Candice and I made this one for abundance last year during one of the abundance full moons last year, I think, right? Or maybe these are older than that.
No, I think we did that. Didn't you make that one at Astara?
Well, maybe like a bunch of years ago, I think now. I feel like I've had this a long time.
Yeah. I think that was in Astara. I think that happened then. I feel like that. That's what my memory is telling me.
Oh yeah, we were sitting at the side of the maze actually. I remember. We were sitting right at the side, like right where you're sitting now. We were sitting just by your mirrors over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's when that happened.
All right, let's light our candles because now we are going to drip all kinds of wax all over our intention page. And as we do this, if you're someone who works with breath work, this is a great time. Remember, your prana, your life force is very important. It's our strongest magic. It keeps us alive. So when we put that into our tools, when we put it onto our pages, when we put that into our intentions, all of these things can only help. Again, Aquarius, we have our blue candles. Of course, if you don't have a blue candle, that is okay. I love looking back through this book, Candice, at all the different pages with ink all over them and soil and mud and wax and
it's like all the pages are 10 times thicker.
Yeah. I love it.
And smells so good.
Right? Every time I open my book, my hands smell so good. I guess I should tilt this down so people can see a little bit better. If you're someone who likes to set intentions but don't know where to start, that is a service that Arcana does offer. We do personalized sigilling. Right now we're doing everything virtually, which has been great because it's actually been able to connect us with people who are outside of Toronto as well. So we've really enjoyed that. We're going to invite you now that if you haven't already, speak your intentions out loud. Remember, this is that Aquarius loud energy. What were our words? Be clear. Get clear about what you want.
Clear your intention. The other ones I was focusing on before I got disconnected was, again, staying vulnerable and open and authentic. And also, again, making time for me and my daughter to connect. And speaking of moons and cycles, I also have an intention here to spend some time really connecting with my menstrual cycle. Yeah, I had some health issues around that, and I don't think I'm going to have any like resolutions in the next 28 days, but I think that it's important for me to just keep that in mind, and like begin really focusing in on working on that health around that, my personal health around that.
Well, I would say mine is pretty well destroyed here.
I want to grab one more thing. I'm feeling called. Just saved a plant that I thought was doomed. I'm gonna put some of that soil, come back to life.
I like it.
Put a little bit of that on here. I'll lock it in.
This labdanum infused Palo Santo, oof, smells so good. So good. How about a little bit of our earth from In Bulk? A little bit on there from both of us.
Very nice.
Whew. Now, the reason why we destroy, or I mean, we use the word destroy, but the reason why we seal it with wax, why we rub it with all the herbs and things like that, is because we're releasing it. There's a very important part of setting intention, that once you've set the intention, you release it and you trust in the process.
Yeah.
Very important part of manifesting.
That's a huge piece, because it's really, a lot of times when you really, really want something, it's all you're thinking about and you're like obsessing over it almost. And you kind of almost end up pushing these things away the more you obsess over it.
I want, which means I don't currently have. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that felt lovely. A nice little mantra to work with for this is, let the water bearers flow, usher abundance and love into my life. I'll say that again. Let the water bearers flow, usher abundance and love into my life. Thanks, water bear.
You can sit with us.
You can definitely. On Wednesdays, we wear pink.
Right?
Wednesdays are actually the day that is sacred to Aquarius signs, which is awesome because new moon is on. It's on the night of Wednesday to Thursday right now, so that is a very good omen. And I believe Aquarius is the 11th house too. A lot of stuff about the 11th house and like you find on your natal charts and stuff. And have you noticed so many people are asking about natal charts right now?
Everyone is asking about natal charts.
I love it.
I'm not complaining because I really love doing it. Especially, I love seeing everyone's reactions when they like hear literally such a detailed thing. Because, like, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, okay, yeah, it's so general. You know, that can apply to anyone. But once you really get into that chart, it's like it is to a T who you are.
Yeah.
You know, even if you don't want to hear it. Because that happens to me when I read my chart. I'm like, no.
Right? That's not my Pluto. Wow. Yeah.
That's not my moon. Anyways.
I love that stuff. All right. So now it is time to release. We close. We put it aside. We have done that work. We say thank you. But as promised,
Smells good.
We're going to pull some cards.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's do it.
I'm pumped for it. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a card for Candice. I'm going to pull a card for myself. And then we'll pull a card for the collective, all of our energies and how we're working with right now. The tarot deck that I will be working with this evening, let me just clear off my little tarot table here, is my deck of choice is the Fountain Tarot. We got this where, Candice?
In Italy?
In Italy! Yeah, we got it in Milan. It was a gorgeous time. We'll tell you all about that sometime, friends. All right. Let's see if I can get this all tilted down. I'd say that's pretty good. You can see it.
Good.
Awesome. Okay. So calling any guides, any energies that help us towards our highest standard of good. Any messages that we need as we move forward on this next 28-day cycle. Anything based on what we've said and set out as our intentions and what we need to know. First one is for Candice. So we have, this is the Three of Wands. Okay, now the Three of Wands is actually one of my favorite cards to have in a tarot pull. I want to talk a little bit about that. Now, it's not a one. A one is a new creation, right? That is a spark. And it's not a two. That's where your choice lives. The Three of Wands, Candice, for you, this is where someone has done the work and they're starting to see the fruition of what they are doing. I think knowing you and what you're going through and what your process is right now, this is a fantastic apropos card for a pull. Now, there are some things that come up with this card. Number one is that it is about keeping the energy going. Just because you've done some work, it's only a 3. We're not at a 10 here, people. So it is still time to work. But there are different types of work. Sometimes you need to take your energy and push it outwards in order to get results. And there's other times where you need to take that energy and take it into yourself. And in those moments, when you're taking energy in, sort of like where we are right now, that helps creation, right? And you can't create when you're pushing out too much, right? So it's important to have that balance of your energy. In a lot of traditional decks, there's always the man standing with his back turned to 2 other wands, and then he has the other wand with him, and he's looking at his ships leaving harbor. Right now, you're beginning to see these results. So, good work. This is an excellent card to see there. Next. So this one is for me. And it is perfect. So I pulled the Nine of Swords. Now, the Nine of Swords, let's get that focus going. There we go. The Nine of Swords is the anxiety card. Okay, and if you were here, Candice, while you were reconnecting, what I was talking about is that I have a lot of anxiety right now pent up around the re-release of my book, and I left the publisher who I thought I was going to publish with, and now I'm in this place where I'm not really sure what's going to happen. This card is actually there to tell you that if you look at the image, he just woke up and there's nightmares and the swords are pointing directly at him. In this card, it was just a nightmare. It is all in your head. It is all in your mind, and it invites you to release your anxiety. So for me, I don't think I could have pulled a better card either for what what I set out as my intention here. So I'm pleased with that. All right, lastly, our collective card, and this is the card for you and I as we move forward over this cycle, for all of you as we do it. Oh, and I love this one. We pulled the Star.
Oh, yay.
Right? I love this star. Oh my gosh. And I actually love the art of this card.
Your art is like a sexy, like, pole dancer.
Yeah, she's pole dancing on the star. I'm here for her. I love her. I love her. So the star is, for me, hope. It is, you are guided. No, even when it feels like things are dark. Actually, the star refers to the Christ child story, and it is the star of Bethlehem, where you're walking in the dark and you didn't know where to go, and there was always the star, and you're blindly following faith, knowing that you are taken care of. This reminds us that we are moving in the right direction. Things are going to be okay. And we have to trust that we are going in the right direction. We are not going to be led astray. So I think that is an awesome card for this new moon. What do you guys think?
I think that sounds really good.
Right? I am.
And just for anyone out there, those were not pre-pulled.
No. I'm shuffling.
Energy of the cards.
Right here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Moon water?
Oh, yeah.
Cheers, girl.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah. Some good water. All right. Now, Candice, you wanted to pull a guidance. It was a goddess card, maybe?
Yeah, I was going to pull a goddess card, and I was just kind of shuffling them around, and I had two jumpers. So I'm going to go with it. And I think it's really interesting because they went really well. They go really well with the readings that you gave. So I'm the first jumper was Anya. So if you can see, yeah, I don't know if you can see that. Let me getting it. So this is a leap of faith card. So the little quote at the bottom: take a risk and put your heart's true desires into action. Which kind of really goes with everything. So I think the cards were listening before we even started. So I'll give a little bit more details here. I'm just going to pull up the card.
Yeah.
So this is the message. Procrastinating about your dreams won't make them go away. Neither will it make them happen. Indecision is the death of the soul's burning passion to improve, grow, and learn. Don't worry about making a wrong decision. Instead, worry about making no decision at all. Then take time to pray, meditate, investigate, research, go on nature walks, and make your decision. Once made, the universal energies will immediately support your decision, and doors will successfully open as if by magic. The magic you see is that you set your mind to accomplish something. And this intention is what sets you on your magical journey. Trust that the universe will support you in all ways. Trust that your intention is clear and right for you. And then take a leap of faith and jump fully and squarely into the midst of putting your dreams into action. Don't hesitate or delay a moment longer. Your dreams can come true.
I love that.
Awesome, right? So Anya.
That's so good. We're gonna post this on we'll post our polls on our Arcana Instagram account. So make sure you're following us. It's at Arcana Mind and Spirit. Yes. Great. And you had one more jumper?
And I had one more jumper. I'll just pull her up. So Ishel, I don't know if you can see it. I'll try to come a little closer. There you go. And she's the medicine woman. You are a channel for divine healing power. Commanding power is not the same as demanding it. Demanding comes from a childlike place akin to a tantrum, based upon the fear that it might be withheld. Commanding is based upon the sure and steady knowledge that you are part of the Great Spirit's grace and wisdom. You're a lightning rod that can conduct the power. Simply connect to the power through unyielding clarity of your thought processes. Don't waver for a moment in your sure and steady decision to be the conduit of the power that already resides within you. Connect to the even bigger source and allow it to amplify your natural power. In this way, you're a steady connector of the infinite, from the infinite, and to the infinite. In other words, it's all spirit around you, through you, and to whomever you're healing.
Wow. Loving these cards.
Awesome, right? So I didn't pull any other ones because they just fell upon the table. So that's what I went with.
The ones we needed, I feel.
Yeah.
They were
great. I haven't used these cards in a long time. So it was nice to pull them out.
Yeah. We'll post those. Well, like I said, we'll post them on our Instagram account for all of you, okay? Love that stuff. Well, Candice, I think we're at the end of our new moon.
I would say so. I got an early start tomorrow, so I need to get that beauty sleep.
No, you don't, girl. You got this.
I don't need sleep.
Yeah. All right. So if you are new to Arcana, welcome. And we always do our new moon intention set. Our next one will be exactly 28 to 29 days from now. And the other thing that everyone looks forward to in our community is our full moon ceremony.
Yes.
So we have a bunch of different practitioners who come and join us. We have had a lot of different people over the course of the last year. We have people who do Nidra yoga journeys. We've had Kundalini practices. We've had tarot and crystals and astrology and Reiki. We do all kinds of modalities. And it turns into a really beautiful night of release and healing together. Our next one is coming up at the end of February. It's February 28th, I believe, off the top of my head. Am I right?
I think so.
I think that's
it. Friday or Saturday?
Yeah, the Friday, I think, that we're doing it with everyone. And for that one, it is going to be in Virgo, full moon in Virgo. So it is going to be about practicality, making lists and getting all organized for the next coming energy. I'm excited about that. I need a little bit of that in my life. That earth energy is always my best medicine.
I actually really love Virgo energy. And I always thought that before I actually ever got my natal chart, I thought for sure my moon or my rising, like one of the top ones there had to be Virgo. And surprisingly, I hardly have any Virgo in my charts.
It is surprising. You are a kind of that energy too. I see that in you. We should explore what houses and stuff a lot of your stuff is in. I bet you there's some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I agree with you. I love Virgo energy. A lot of my closest friends growing up have always been like in my wedding party. Out of the 5 people, 2 of them are Virgos. So I do love that energy for sure. So be here for that. And then, of course, for this month, we're looking at our vertical veil guardians. This week, we released our lower world guardians. Next week, we're going to be looking at our middle world, which is the love that we share in circle with each other. So we're excited for that one. At the end of the month, we're going to be doing an integration video where we take all of our episodes from all of January and February, and we're going to be learning how to open circle together. So make sure you check out that video. I guess we're good with that. Any last words?
Take care of yourself, be kind, and keep doing the work.
Keep doing the work. Get clear. Get clear. I'm excited. I cannot wait to see what this year yields us.
Me too.
All right. Namaste, Soul Circle.
Namaste.